Hello, today we are going to discuss a very relevant topic, econometrics. Econometric means economic measurement. Okay, you can write econometrics as econo plus metrics. So here econo means economics and metric means measurement. So literally econometrics means economic measurement. Okay, then what are you going to measure here? Okay, I will tell you, you are going to measure economic data. So what is economic data? You may think GDP, inflation, unemployment, all these things. Okay, I agree, all these are economic data. But here you need to understand a broader definition for economic data. So here you are going to measure the economic theories you learned in microeconomics as well as macroeconomics. That is, you are going to do the empirical validation of economic theories by applying mathematical and statistical tools. In simple sense, we can say econometrics consists of application of mathematical statistics to economic data. In other words, we can say it is the empirical determination of economics law. Econometrics is not only applicable in economics domain, rather it can be applied in other domains also like business and accounting, finance, management and marketing, and several other disciplines apart from economics like science and engineering discipline. Okay. So what is econometrics? In a subject domain language, we can say econometrics may be defined as the social science in which the tools of economic theory, mathematics, and statistical inference are applied to the analysis of economic phenomena. So we can say it's an amalgam of economic theory, mathematical economics, economic statistics, and mathematical statistics. Definitely, you may have sufficient knowledge regarding theoretical aspects of micro as well as macroeconomics. You have sufficient knowledge regarding the theories in economics, but you have never made an attempt to test whether these theories are actually valid in an empirical settings. Empirical application, that is application in real life. For that we need support of data, economic data. Okay, so next question will be how to test economic theories, that is by applying mathematical and statistical tools and by analysis of economic data. In microeconomics we learned about demand function, that is there is an inverse relationship between quantity demanded and price. That is, economic theory postulates a negative or inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded of a commodity. Economic theory makes statements or hypotheses that are mostly qualitative in nature. We never tested this kind of economic statements or economic hypotheses in reality. That is, whether this theory is true or not in empirical settings or reality. Whether this particular relationship is actually valid in reality. Okay, we want to know all this. Also, we would like to know what exactly the impact of price on quantity demanded. But the theory itself does not provide any numerical measure of the relationship between the two. Suppose a certain change is happened in the price of a commodity. This theory doesn't tell about how much the quantity will go up or down as a result of this particular change in the price of commodity. Okay. It is the job of the econometrician to provide such numerical estimates. I will give you an example from macroeconomic theory where you learned about consumption function. It's an economic formula that represents the functional relationship between total consumption and gross national income. It was introduced by British economist John Keynes. Here, consumption is a function of income. The consumption function relates the amount of consumption to the level of income. When the income of a community rises, consumption also rises. The theory says that income increases, consumption also increases, but less than proportionate. That is, when income increases, consumption increases at a lesser proportion than the increase in income. Hope I am making it clear. If you want to test this kind of relationship between income and consumption, that is, if the relationship between this income and consumption is actually valid in a particular context, you can apply econometric tools and techniques to estimate a consumption function, and we can examine the validity of this consumption function. Okay. Econometric procedure also involves several steps, starting from hypothesizing a relationship among several variables. In the above case, hypothesis, it's a relation between quantity and price, and in the second case, there is a relationship between income and consumption. Then we need to actually collect data, then we need to formulate an econometric model, and then we need to estimate the model. At the end, we will come to a conclusion whether this hypothesis is true or not. Okay, let's have a look at methodology of econometrics. That is, how do econometricians proceed in their analysis of an economic problem? That is, what is their methodology? Actually, there are several schools of thought on econometric methodology, but here I am presenting traditional or classic methodology, which still dominates empirical research in economics and other social and behavioral sciences. Okay. So the first step is statement of theory or hypothesis. Second, specification of the mathematical model of the theory. Third, specification of the statistical or econometric model. Then obtaining the data. Fifth one, estimation of the parameters of the econometric model, and then hypothesis testing, forecasting or prediction, and finally using the model for control or policy purposes. To illustrate the preceding step, let us consider the well-known consumption function, that is theory of consumption. Okay. First step is statement of theory or a hypothesis. For example, we can say that Keynesian consumption function, you want to represent that macroeconomic theory using a mathematical equation. How will you represent that consumption function in a mathematical equation? That we are going to discuss. Okay, then it will be look like this. Theory says when your income increases by 1 rupee, consumption will increase definitely, but less than 1 rupee. Okay. Next, we have to specify the mathematical model of consumption. So the Keynes postulated a positive relationship between consumption and income, but he did not specify the precise form of the functional relationship between the two. So if you want to represent that macroeconomic theory, that is Keynesian consumption function, by using mathematical equation, then it will be look like yi is equal to alpha plus bxy, where y is equal to consumption expenditure and x is equal to income, and alpha and beta are known as the parameters of the model. As income increases, consumption also increases, right? But less than proportionate. Then how will you specify? You have to put a restriction on this parameter beta. So beta is less than 1 but greater than 0. The equation will be like this: yi is equal to alpha plus beta xi plus ui. Here ui is error term. That is, it captures the other significant or relevant variables which are not included in the model. But these variables definitely will have an effect or some kind of impact on your consumption. Okay. For example, we can say gender, taste and preference, age, education, and so forth. These variables might have an effect on your consumption. Okay. So even though you have included all these variables in the model, consumption, it's a human behavior. They don't behave like a machine. So it's very difficult to predict exactly what will be the individual consumption. That's why before conducting econometric analysis, we have to convert mathematical model into a statistical one by adding error term. Clear? Then we will collect the sample, and from the sample we will estimate alpha hat and beta hat. Alpha hat and beta hat are the sample counterparts of true population parameter. That is, by using alpha hat and beta hat, we will try to infer something about the true population parameter. The true population parameter is alpha and beta. Okay. So always remember, one of the objectives of econometric analysis is to draw inference about the true population parameter alpha and beta from the sample statistics alpha hat and beta hat. In research methodology paper, you will be familiar with the sample statistic and population parameter, right? The same term is used here. We know a parameter is a number describing a whole population, that is the population mean, while a statistic is a number describing a sample, that is sample mean. We know the goal of quantitative research is to understand the characteristics of population by finding parameters. With the help of inferential statistics, we can use sample statistics to make educated guesses about population parameters. With the help of inferential statistics, we can use sample statistics to make educated guesses about population parameters. The same principle is applied here. In econometrics, we use alpha hat and beta hat as sample statistic to infer something about the true population parameter, that is alpha and beta. Okay. If you want to know more about this population parameter and sample statistics, please watch videos regarding research methodology. I have uploaded some videos regarding research methodology paper. I have put the links in the description box. So as a conclusion, we can say like this: we have a population, we collect the sample, estimate the econometric model. Once you estimate, you will get alpha hat and beta hat. They are basically the sample statistic. They are the counterparts of true population parameters. So by using alpha hat and beta hat, you can draw information or you infer about the alpha and beta, that is the unknown population parameter. Okay. So one of the objective of econometrics is to draw information about the population parameter from the sample statistic. Second function of econometrics is to estimate, that is estimating a causal relationship between the dependent and independent variable. Here we have two items, okay, consumption and income. Here consumption is the dependent variable because consumption is dependent on somebody's income, and here income is independent variable. So once you specify your dependent and independent model, then you can establish causal relationship. So here the model will be y is equal to alpha plus beta xi plus ui. Okay, this model is used for forecasting. Okay, it is an example of a mathematical model of the relationship between consumption and income, that is called the consumption function in economics. A model is simply a set of mathematical equation. If the model has only one equation, it is called single equation model, whereas if it has more than one equation, it is known as multiple equation model. As a conclusion, we can say econometrics is the statistical and mathematical analysis of economic relationship. It is the basis for economic forecasting, and sometimes these types of information is used by governments to set economic policy and by private business to help decisions on prices, inventory and production. Okay, I think this video will be definitely beneficial for getting an introductory knowledge regarding econometrics. Basically, you have to understand econometrics allows economists to convert economic theories into quantifiable metrics. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching.